First of those three, the FMK. As far as I know, the only handgun maker in California still in operation. I like that, wanted to support them for fighting the good fight in a state outside of the constitutional United States. It's very Glock 19-esque, as you'll see with the close-ups. It's got some really nice contours to the grip and a rubberized, like rubber, almost tacky backstrap to it that kind of helps absorb recoil. The sights are very Glock-ish. Overall, very simple kind of Glock 19 clone. This has the upgraded 804 trigger. The original triggers are pretty rough, and this is actually my second FMK. The first one I got serves as a malfunctions drill gun because it won't go through a full magazine without a type 1, 2, or 3 happening to it. This one seems to be a bit better. So one of the things on this FMK is the sights, though they clone the Glock U and dot. The dot is huge and the U rather high, and as a result we found that you can't use them like that at all if you want to hit your target. You have to go off of top edge of front and rear. Kind of different. Another neat feature on this thing is there is a loaded chamber indicator, this little red thing that pops out on the back so you can see and feel if the gun is loaded. Kind of a neat thing. Of course, the extractor also protrudes when loaded. Do some ready-ups on the steel. Yep, gotta get used to those sights. There we go. Miss. Miss. Having to deal with those sights makes it a little bit frustrating. The trigger, though not spectacular, is certainly manageable. You just kind of crunch through it like you would any basic Glock level trigger. Miss. Why did I miss? Because there was no round. This nice extended slide stop back here, just like on Walthers, on Canex, pretty much anything with the extended slide stop, my large hands, ends up being a resting place for my thumb, which prevents it from locking open on empty. Very manageable recoil, very soft shooting, I think. We'll have Tia put some rounds through it and give you her opinion on this thing. But for, I believe they were around $300 when they came out, which is hundreds less than most of the competition at the time. Not a bad effort at an affordable gun.
Being of the visually impaired, this could be painful for you and me. Nope. What I notice is, aside from the sights being a little bit different than what I'm used to having or used to coming in on, the trigger's not unpleasant, just kind of elementary, if you will, in its operation, in that it does its job, but it's not been refined, obviously. When I first picked this up, this rear back strap was kind of like, ooh, that's weird, but it works really well in helping mitigate any of that front flip recoil, which you don't get a lot of, and I'm only getting a little bit of trigger slap. So other than the sights, I like this. You'd have to spend some time with it to get used to the simplistic designs. This is my first time shooting it. I'm not dissatisfied at all, but intrigued and would want to have more time with it.
Is it one we dare go after the spinner with?
Oh, that could be even more painful. In that the sight acquisition is really difficult for me. I can assure you that I might hit one or two by accident. I don't know if I've spent enough time, but let's give it a whirl.
Hopefully this works. I'm going to do my best to show you the sight picture problem we've got. So you can see we've got a nice large white dot up front and the U in the back. However, to get a proper sight picture involves having, let's see, camera focus on the front dot there. The top edge of the front sight and edge of the rear sight aligned like so. That means cutting the dot more than in half. And if you try to do the dot in the U, you're going to end up with your sight way high. It's kind of tough. The camera doesn't want to focus on that front sight post, but hopefully that gives you an idea of the challenge. So that's proper sight picture right there with the dot cut above the halfway through. If you set the dot in the U, you're going to be way off. All right, with the FMK out there, we're about, say, 12, 15 yards from our 6-inch spinner target. This thing is a lot of fun. It tests your ability to time the shots. So it's very much being able to focus on the sights and also trigger control. Two things that are kind of difficult with this gun. As you hit it, it starts moving faster. The goal, of course, would be to spin it over the top. That requires timing and landing sequential hits. Something kind of difficult to do with a gun like this.
Well, I hit more than I expected to. So that's a good thing, which tells me that this is learnable. Yeah, I'm pleased with that.
All right. Tia gave herself 8 shots. I couldn't help but notice she loaded 7 in my mag, giving me a little more challenge here. The trigger's got some grit to it. I was not ready for that one. And flinch. So, not the best performance, not the most learnable. We know it has to be done, but in these short few rounds, we're not getting there yet. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad gun, it just means it's something that we're not learning that quickly. Trigger's got some grit, there's some grind, there's some slippage. All things not meant for a target trigger, it's meant as a defensive trigger. And at the price range these are coming at, you really can't expect a whole lot more. So Tia, being the naturally better shooter, wants us to group these. We're at 7 yards. We're gonna do a target apiece. It's gonna be tough going between these 3 different trigger modes. That's me coughing out excuses before we even start. We're also just using some Igman 115 grain bulk white box ammo. So we're not getting any help from the ammo. Got to remember the sight trick on this FMK. I'll be going for the top left. Gritty trigger. That was the trigger going when I wasn't ready for it. And the slide didn't lock back because my thumb was resting on the stinking slide stop again.
Truth be told, we're doing this because this is my favorite part, not the spinner. The FMK.
Top right?
Yes, at the top right. That different sight picture gives me a whole different sense of pressure. I've come to like this gun after just shooting it the little bit that we have today. I love an affordable option for defense. That way, anybody who needs to protect themselves, they have options. And this, for me, would be one that I would recommend over some other budget guns, because it's just more pleasant to shoot. The rubberized backstrap here keeps any kind of recoil that you would feel through regular polymer mitigated a little bit. The relief here helps keep your grip nice and tight, and for me, it even assists in letting me get my other hand up in there a little bit tighter. So I like that there are budget-friendly options that I can recommend to those who just need something inexpensive for defense.
And with this newer production one being 100% reliable, I think with some different sights and maybe a little bit of love given to some of the trigger surfaces internally to smooth things out a little bit, it'd be a pretty darn good gun for affordable.